Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. The MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to MovieFilm. This is episode 102, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and I'm joined once again by Brian Hall.
102. Man, anytime, I think I'm going to bring this up with every single episode, but when you say one something, I'm going to be like, wow, 110, 111, huh? Like, it just seems, I'm happy we've reached that milestone now. Three digits.
I think other than my marriage, this is the longest commitment that I've maintained in my life.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to be a part of that.
Yeah. So, we took a little hiatus after our last episode. It's almost like our summer hiatus.
Sure.
And now we've begun the new season of the show.
Yeah, well, the August doldrums, right?
And the doldrums this time were especially doldrummy, it feels like.
Yeah.
They were doldrummier than usual. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Brian, what's new and exciting? I haven't talked to you in a few weeks, and this is, by the way, not normal for us. It feels like this time, more than most, where we really have not talked at all between the time we wrapped up our last episode and picked up the mics for this one.
Yeah, I know. It's really weird.
It feels like we're here as like a contractual obligation.
It kind of does. I mean,
we're like Laverne and Shirley in the last season of the show where they hated each other.
Where we don't like to appear in the same room. I'm actually recording this separately, and an editor is piecing us together. Sort of like The Good Wife, too, right?
The Good Wife finale.
Yeah. But anyway, excellent comment, Zaki. Yeah, things have been good. I'm trying to think. I mean, any movies I've seen we'll bring up later, but I guess the coolest thing I've done recently is I got to go see John Williams play at the Hollywood Bowl.
And how many times is this for you, seeing John Williams perform?
I can't say with certainty, but I feel like it's about 5.
Wow.
I want to say it's about 5 because he plays it's pretty much the end of August, the last weekend in August or first weekend in September. Every year he has 3 nights at the Bowl, and it's cool because each year he does, the standards, if you will, the Star Wars and Superman and E.T. and whatnot. But then he also usually has some sort of theme. Like one year it was the movies of Blake Edwards, and Julie Andrews was there to talk about certain films and personal experiences because she was married to Blake Edwards. And then John Williams would conduct, say, like the theme to Pink Panther or something like that. And then one year actually was kind of interesting. I guess John Williams' first movie as a composer was The Reivers, which is based on a book, Faulkner book.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Faulkner, I think. And so what they did was they had James Taylor come up and read passages from the book while Williams scored the moment he was reading.
That's so cool.
So yeah, you talk about like, stealing a car or something, and then it would have the music sort of, narrating basically what was going on in the story. It was really cool. But anyway, so this year was actually half and half. It was David Newman, who is a composer, film composer, and we looked him up when we were there, and he's done like over 100 films. And
he's the son of Alfred Newman.
I was just going to say, yeah, and John Williams has a connection with Alfred Newman. I guess he played piano as a 13-year-old, I want to say, something really, really young on one of Alfred Newman's scores. So there's like a whole sort of long connection there. And so he did sort of the first half of the show, and then Williams came out for the second half. And he did a lot of Force Awakens stuff, which of course is all new, which my brother and I were realizing as we were watching these clips that feel already like classics. The classic moments were like, this movie isn't even a year old yet.
That's so fun. But you've watched it like 50 million times already.
I've seen it all the way through at least 4 times.
Which is
I remember
a lot.
Thinking like, yeah, the 4th was with me. I remember thinking
Which is a lot for a brand new movie.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, for 9 months now about. So,
And by the way, just as a tangent, does your heart kind of clench up every single time Han Solo steps onto that catwalk?
It's funny because that is sort of what prompted the thought, was they were showing basically a whole medley of the movie in clips as he was playing medleys. But that
was profound,
I used the word
Brian.
too early. Damn it. But yeah, when they approached that moment, I was thinking, this is such a huge moment in the film. It's so funny that this was like a closely guarded secret less than a year ago, but here we are just blasting it on screen.
Like now everybody knows it.
Yeah. But to answer your thing there, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. Like it shows, they actually didn't show the actual moment necessarily, but they did show him put his hand on his son's face, which of course is just like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool. And he talked about, he's going to score episode 8 and he's excited to do that. And he played every...
That's me knocking on wood that his health remain vital and viable and that he gets to do a lot more of these scores.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, he was up there. He's 84 and he's an older gentleman, but he's up there. He's making jokes and he's a charming guy still.
Even a healthy 84-year-old is still 84 years old.
Oh, for sure. But it's always fun too is he whenever they do the Imperial March, which most people think of as Darth Vader's theme, the whole place just breaks out into lightsabers.
Wow.
If people haven't seen it, I'd say Google it. Hollywood Bowl John Williams lightsabers, and just people either buy them there, or I went on a shuttle and all these people had lightsabers with them on the shuttle, and then the whole place turns into a sea of waving lightsabers for the Imperial March, and it's something. It's really funny because my brother, he's a fan of this stuff, but nowhere near the same connection that I have with it. And I think there was one moment where I realized I was getting a little misty, and I just felt him pat me on the back, and he looked at me and he's like, "You're home." So, yeah, highly recommended for anyone in the Los Angeles area. And if you aren't, and you somehow think you could make a trip out here, and you're an Uber fan, like it's definitely worth it to see the man himself.
Very cool.
Yeah, highly recommended event.
So I have a little news of my own. Now, you might remember a couple years ago when I mentioned to you that I had we had a surprise addition to our family when we went from 3 children to 4 children. Well, funny story.
No.
My youngest will now no longer be my youngest.
Really?
Yes.
I'm finding this out right now on the air.
So I've spent most of the past 2 weeks in a catatonic, borderline
Dude.
comatose state.
Wow, you're approaching Brady Bunch numbers.
Yes.
Holy crap.
So next stop for me is a Jerry curl.
Well, congratulations, first of all. Right?
Yeah, yes. That is the protocol, so yes.
Yeah. Oh, man. So I imagine your wife is just praying for a girl.
I think so. I think she has all her marbles on this being a girl.
Yeah.
I had all my marbles on not having any more, so I've already crapped out.
Yeah.
So, but that's my news.
Well, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I love the fact that we've been doing this show long enough that I've used it as a vehicle to announce 2 of my children.
Yeah.
So that and once we know more, obviously I will share that with you and with the audience. So I'll keep you posted about that.
Yeah.
But this is our post-Labor Day episode, and it's a tradition that every post-Labor Day episode we go through and look at the summer releases that came out and kind of do our what would we call it? Like a second look?
Like a reflection?
Yeah. A reflection, an analysis, a reflection paper.
Yeah.
It's like what I did on my summer vacation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly that.
So we'll get to that in just a bit. But before we do that, I had one listener letter and a couple of headlines I wanted to share. This listener letter comes from our regular listener, Jason Thorwall, who has written to us before and who's been listening to us since just about the beginning. And he says, "Congrats on 100 episodes, guys. Well done. I'd like to request a bizarro episode of the podcast where Zaki has to find something to like about everything discussed and takes great pains to not go negative ever. All the while, Brian will crap on anything that pleases his fancy that day, call things how he really sees them, and seem at times to attempt to alienate large swaths of the listeners based on highly subjective criteria just for sport. You up for the challenge? I feel like Jason is saying something about me there, Brian. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's funny because I've actually had those thoughts where I'm like, am I too... Like, if I sort of defend everything, do I stand for anything?
Yeah, you do not, Brian.
Yeah.
You're the Jay Leno of this show.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't blame me.
But when I say you're the Jay Leno of the show, really, it's a compliment. That means you're highly rated and have a long and successful career.
Oh, well, sure, I'll take it. And I like driving vintage vehicles all over Burbank.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Jay Leno, like, outside of the Tonight Show?
Yes. It's funny. I see him every now and then because I do work in Burbank. And it's we've talked about this at work, actually. It's sort of this rite of passage. Everyone has a Jay Leno driving a weird car with no top story. Okay. And I've had several, actually. My parents called me one time at work, and the reception is terrible inside my building, so I ran outside, and I was standing on the curb on the street, and sure enough, here comes... I mean, basically, it's like a flat... like a door with wheels and a stick and a steering wheel. I mean, no door... sorry. When I say a door, I mean just like a flat piece of wood. And no top, no doors, no windows, no nothing. And it just sputters down the street, and there's Jay Leno, driving this thing down Magnolia Boulevard.
Wow.
And I was just like, hey, Mom, Dad, well, there goes Jay Leno riding a door with wheels. Like, it's just... And then, yeah, the other day even, I was getting on the freeway, and he was in front of me, and another vehicle that didn't have a top that looked really old and kind of funky. So yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, you know what's funny is literally earlier today, I taught a class in the evening, and we're recording very shortly after that. I made a reference to Jay Leno, and no one knew who I was talking about.
Shut up.
Yeah, he's been.
No one knew who Jay Leno was.
He's been off there for what, like a minute and a half.
Wow, but you know what? He hasn't really kept himself in any sort of spotlight. Right?
Sure. Well, and arguably. Even before he left, late night TV had become such a niche.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, even David Letterman just went straight off the grid, right? It seems like
he turned into like a bearded mountain man. Have you seen him?
Yeah, but he's like all smiley and happy. He just looks like a genuinely happy old guy.
I think my sense from David Letterman is that the last 5 years on the show were, if not a misery, an inconvenience.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
I think so, yeah. But it's kind of... There's something sort of endearing and charming about seeing him just this happy old coot now, you know?
Who doesn't have to care about the bullshit that he would talk about.
You know what? I didn't even think about it, but you're absolutely right.
You know, like...
He doesn't have to banter about nonsense.
About stuff that, you know, these stars who are like 50 years younger than him...
Right.
He doesn't care about... Because I find as a 37-year-old that I'm already at that stage where... Like, this happened to me yesterday. I had a student who was like, oh, you know, on the weekend I went to the YG concert. And I'm like, I don't know what you just said. YG. I'm like, is that a band? And I as I was saying it, I could hear myself sounding like this completely out-of-touch old man.
That's funny.
You know, and I'm reaching the point where I'm like, I don't even care. Not about talking to my students. I mean, I don't care about like looking this up and finding out, and you know.
Yeah. Well, hey, good for Jay Leno and good for the people who don't know who he is.
There you go. There we go. But regardless, so Jason has thrown down the gauntlet, and you know we're not going to announce it, but you know there will be episodes where you'll just be like, man, Zaki's being so. They're kind of more pleasant than usual, let's say, because I'd like to think I'm always pleasant. I'm always affable, I think.
Oh, for sure.
I think I'll be slightly more affable, and Brian will be slightly douchier.
Yeah, I'll give it my best.
You know, and you'll be like, hey, that's the thing that I...
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, that movie...
All I'm going to say, Jason, is that, you know... sometimes you want something so bad that when you finally get it, you realize, you know, I like things better the way they were.
This could be like It's a Wonderful Life sort of
exactly. It's going to be our O. Henry episode of the movie film show. And
it won't affect any portion of his life except for the 20-minute car ride to the grocery store.
But he will have learned a lesson.
Yeah.
It'll be an important one. All right, so that's something that we'll have to think about if we ever feel like doing that. Moving on, some headlines, and just to start things off, a little bit of sad news. Gene Wilder has passed away. Comedy legend Gene Wilder.
Yeah, it's interesting because then you realize when you read all these sort of memorials about him and whatnot, just that he hadn't really been in the spotlight in a while.
Yeah.
And what's kind of I saw popping up a lot was some of his later last interviews, maybe say 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I watched one or two of them, and he just came across as such a sweet, genuine guy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, just what you sort of picture him to be, it seems like he genuinely was.
And, and he was 83. He had been suffering from Alzheimer's for the last few years of his life. And the statement that his family released said that they kept out of any news coverage prior to his death that he was in fact dealing with Alzheimer's because they didn't want any child who met him and got a little bit of joy to then have to hear from the adult in their life like, oh, he has Alzheimer's, by the way.
Yeah.
Because Gene Wilder couldn't bear the thought of a child not smiling because of something dealing with him.
Right. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, does it just seem like that? I don't know. And I read something else I would think is sort of similar where they were saying, why aren't you in movies anymore? And he was just like, they're just too violent. And he's like, too much swearing, too much that. It just seemed to him like there was no joy in the stories that he was being offered. And he was just only interested in bringing stories that had a genuine joy to them. And it's like, how can you not appreciate that?
So, I mean, obviously we think of Gene Wilder, we think of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. What are some of your other favorite Gene Wilder performances?
Well, Young Frankenstein, which I had actually just rewatched recently, funny enough. And, I mean, just so funny. It's just one of those movies. That's one of those things, too, where a lot of times, people want to recommend an older film, and it's just hard to get into, or it has a different tempo or a different sort of humor that maybe resonated more with the time. But you watch, Young Frankenstein, and it's still funny now, right? Like you don't need to forgive it at all. Yeah. And just the comedy still rings like it did then. So I really enjoyed that a whole lot. But, it made me realize also, I have never seen any of his Richard Pryor films.
Really?
I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, so you've got something waiting for you.
Yeah. And I remember growing up, our neighbor loved them and was always loaning them to my dad. And I remember even my dad saying they were funny and whatnot, but maybe I was too young or something at the time. I'm not sure. But I remember that being a thing, but somehow I just missed all those.
Well, you definitely want to watch See No Evil, Hear No Evil. Mm-hmm. You definitely want to see Stir Crazy.
Right.
I think Another You, which was the last one that they did together, that's not as fun. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of the other two. Yeah. And another one that I want to recommend, which not that many people have seen, but I think is really funny. This is from 1975. It's called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Smarter Brother. And it's Gene Wilder as Sigerson Holmes. Right. Who's the Holmes that nobody knows about and who never got any respect. And it's very funny. So definitely.
I'll have to look that one up. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn from Young Frankenstein, and Marty Feldman. And Gene Wilder actually directed that movie.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, Young Frankenstein, he co-wrote also.
Exactly. So very creative. And, he was on a sitcom in the 90s, which most people don't remember, called Something Wilder. And it lasted like 10 episodes, and he plays this older guy who marries a younger woman and ends up with twins.
Oh, funny.
And it's kind of such a standard issue sitcom setup. But, the fact that it was Gene Wilder was what sort of, made it something to pay attention to. But, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't last very long.
If they were to make a sitcom about you, what would be the clever play on words, do you think?
Hassan language.
There you go. Yeah.
That's what I'd want.
Lean on Zaki.
Yeah.
Zaki. No, whatever. I don't know.
It'd be about a miserable man with a house full of children.
And another on the way.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be like that. Oh, never mind. I was just gonna say. It'd be like that episode where Homer finally gets everything stable and balanced, and then he finds out he's got another kid on the way.
That episode was like flitting through my eyes, you know? I was working the Ballo Shino, everything was fine.
Right. But then we all remember how that episode ended. So.
And there we go.
Yeah.
Right. Do it
happily for those who don't know.
Do it for her, right? But moving on to another headline here, and we are recording on September 8th. And this is an important date, September 8th, 2016, because it is 50 years to the day that
you were standing on your toilet, hanging a clock. No, okay.
Great, Scott. Very nice. 50 years to the day that NBC aired the very first episode of Star Trek.
Wow, 50 years.
50 years. That's included 6 television series, 13 movies, an animated series, toys, action figures, you name it. I think that when it comes to a multimedia, multi-platform success story, there are few that are comparable to Star Trek. Mm-hmm. And one of the most gratifying things in my life is the fact that my kids are now these little Trekkie people, much to my wife's chagrin. I took my kids to see Star Trek Beyond a couple weeks ago, and my 9-year-old, if you remember, there's the scene at the end of the movie where the young Spock is looking at the effects of the older Spock who has passed away in the film, and he sees the picture of the original Enterprise crew from the original actors. And my 9-year-old, he's like, you know what that means? It means it's all connected. He's like, it's not like the new Ghostbusters where they're just starting. Like he has
Did
that.
He really?
Yeah, he actually said that.
Wow.
And I was like, that's awesome. And so for me, it's like, here's this franchise that's lasted 50 years. I've been a Star Trek fan all my life. And I think in a lot of ways, it's shaped my personality. It's shaped the way I think of myself and other people. And I can't imagine not having it in my life. And so the fact that I get to share this now with my kids is something that's really fun.
Yeah, that's really cool too. Because I remember 9, when I was 9 specifically, and that was the year that Last Crusade came out.
Batman.
And, Batman, and like all these sort of like touchstone movies in my life.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to think of your son at that age, and this is one of those ones that's sort of imprinting on him, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I was exactly my oldest kid's age when I went to see my first Star Trek movie in the theater, which was unfortunately Star Trek V, the worst one out of all of them. But it was a memorable experience nonetheless.
Sure.
So I'm definitely with that. But I wanted to share an interview I just did recently with Adam Nimoy, who is the son of Leonard Nimoy, and Adam Nimoy is a director, producer, and writer in his own right. And he has a new documentary out right now. It's available on demand, called For the Love of Spock. And it's a celebration of Star Trek's 50th anniversary. It's a celebration of the Mr. Spock character, who is synonymous with Star Trek, and it's a celebration of his late great father, Leonard Nimoy. To hear the whole thing, I think you'll enjoy the whole thing. And Brian, definitely you check it out too. It's at the Nostalgia Theater Show, so check out the latest episode of that. If you don't know what that is, just go to iTunes, type in Nostalgia Theater, or type in MovieFilm Podcast, and you'll see both shows, this one and the Nostalgia Theater Show. And subscribe to that. Check out the latest episode.
Yeah. Highly recommended, by the way. I'm not even a part of it, and I totally recommend it and love listening to it. So.
Well, you are a part of it, Brian, because it's a movie film show, so it's all.
Oh, sure.
It's all encompassed in the.
It's under the umbrella.
It's under the umbrella, exactly.
Yeah.
It's in the womb of the movie film brand. So that's one franchise. What's that?
A lot of pregnancy imagery going on.
Well, imagine that, Brian. I wonder why that would be the case.
And it was even Labor Day this past.
It's definitely laborious right now. So that's one franchise with the word star in the title. Let's move on to another one. I'm talking about Star Wars. Brian, cue the music.
There we go. Needle drop.
All right, Brian, what do we got for Star Wars news?
Well, not a whole lot as we have Rogue One approaching, but in little sort of tidbitty news, we saw via social media that Mark Hamill has shaved off.
By the way, tidbitty, doesn't that sound like an alien that George Lucas would include in like the cantina?
Yeah. It'd be like some sort of cantina creature.
Yeah, exactly.
And be like, yeah, I got the Emperor and Akbar and Tidbitty. That's the only characters I have. They're all sold out of everything else.
That's the clearance section.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's describing my childhood, basically.
Tidbitty Gimroy. Something like that.
That was me. I got Rancor Keeper, Reese, and Tidbitty.
Yeah. I think I
was expected to be grateful.
I had Endor, Han Solo, Emperor's Guard, the all red guys, and
I would have killed for Emperor's Guard.
You would?
I would have killed for the Emperor's Guard.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess it beats Rancor Keeper. But
yeah, Rancor Keeper, the fat guy.
He cries
the fat guy with man boobs. If you hate your child, you will get him that.
Unless you're the actor that played him.
That's true.
Yeah. But, I guess Mark Hamill shaved off his Jedi beard and said farewell to that, but then also was quick to comment that didn't necessarily mean that he wasn't going to be in Episode 9. I think he said, until Episode 9, ha 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 ha. As not to allude that he possibly dies in Episode 8, which people could speculate.
So here's my prediction. I think that Luke is safe through this trilogy.
I would imagine.
I don't think they're going to kill off both leading characters from the previous trilogy.
Yeah, hard to say, but I think if it's going to play out like the original trilogy, there's going to be some sort of grand, tragic happening at the end, but I imagine you would want that to happen to one of our new characters rather than an older character and take away from the newer characters, if that makes sense.
Well, to me, it's kind of like Mark Hamill is game to do these movies, and Luke Skywalker is... Like, why wouldn't you keep him on the playing field?
Yeah, and if he's almost like Yoda, then you can do something with him in the third film, but you imagine you want to leave it off in the second one and then have some sort of great loss happen to one of the newer characters, is my guess.
Right. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, I mean, obviously, the speculatron is being... Every little nugget that drops is being analyzed to death, but... I think that that's my prediction. I'm curious if that plays out, but I'm guessing that we don't need to worry about Luke Skywalker dying in this current trilogy.
It's funny though. I find as you say that speculatron, like I find myself less attention to detail, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm not digging as hard as I was before The Force Awakens came out.
Yes.
Because I feel like with that one, it was just like, I just wanted a little drop of anything that had to do with that movie, just because I wanted to know what it was going to be like. And I think now that we have it, and we've got a taste of what this new trilogy is going to be like, I'm having an easier time sitting back and waiting.
I agree with that.
And I'm comfortable with it because I want to be surprised.
Well, and Brian, I think part of that also is that the spigot is on.
Yeah, exactly that.
So, we got Rogue One and we got this, that, and the other thing. So there's plenty to keep us busy.
Right, sure.
And actually, speaking of the spigot, Season 2 of Star Wars Rebels just came out on Blu-ray. I really want to recommend this show. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't really keep up with it. I saw the pilot of Season 1, and it was just one of those things I couldn't fit in. But I should go back?
I absolutely think you should go back.
Mm-hmm.
And you should also check out the Darth Vader comic book, which just ended its run after 24 issues.
I am literally looking at it on my desktop right now next to me, eagerly awaiting starting it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, that's because we think with the same brain.
Yeah.
That's a very... I like the regular Star Wars title as well. The Darth Vader book, really fun, really cool, and it manages to find drama in what feels like, you're kind of boxed in a little bit, because it's not like there's any surprises with that character.
Right, and you don't want to sully the mystery, right? The air of mystery that goes on with him. I mean, even though we come to know him and see his turn in the original trilogy, like you say, like filling in the gaps, you don't want to like oversaturate it and have him become uninteresting. Yeah,
and obviously part of the problem is that the prequels have already kind of made him uninteresting.
Sure.
Right. I think this series, and it's nice because it's a complete beginning, middle, end, is set between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. It's just like a really cool Darth Vader story. Like you get the sense of why this guy is such a feared figure throughout the galaxy.
That's cool, man. You're making me even more excited. I read some article. I can't remember where I read it, but they were talking about how it was winding down, and just that the consistency had kept up. And so immediately after reading that, I just went on Amazon and bought the first trade.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Let me know what you think.
Yeah,
we'll check back in 2 weeks for our next episode.
Yeah. But I should say, even though I did buy this on Amazon, that I still try to go out and support my local comic shop.
And you should do that.
Yes. And others should as well.
So that's Star Wars news. Shall we move to our annual tradition, Summer in Review, Summer Movies in Review?
Let's do it.
We need like a Summer Movies in Review theme.
We totally need like a Beach Boys. Summer Movies in Review. Well, I like this. So how about you?
There, you just composed the theme on the fly. That's it. We're locked in now.
We watched a lot of movies. Not all of them were groovy. Summer movies.
That's quite impressive, actually. Very nice. So, Brian, hop in the Wayback Machine with me. We're going to jump all the way back to the beginning of May.
Can I go back further?
You certainly can.
I'm going to go back to April.
Okay.
To the Jungle Book. Maybe technically not a summer movie.
I just rewatched the Jungle Book last week 3 times in 1 week.
What?
Well, my kids love it. So
wow, I loved it too, and so that's why I have to even bring it up. I mean, if I had to compose my top 3 of the summer, that would, even though maybe that's technically not the summer, that would absolutely be in my top 3.
I would agree with you.
Yeah, great movie, and I get, like Zaki just said, it's out on VOD, streaming, Blu-ray, whatnot. So
the works.
If you haven't seen it, I say check it out.
It's a breathtaking and enveloping achievement.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So the Jungle Book came out April 15th, which is also the same week as Criminal, which was not criminally overlooked because it was a
Criminal?
terrible... Yeah, see, you've already forgotten about it. That was the Kevin Costner movie.
Oh, Criminal? Makes me think of that Eminem song.
That was where Ryan Reynolds has his brain transplanted into Kevin Costner.
Right. Wasn't that Wait, was that Kevin Costner or was that Ben Kingsley?
No, see, you're thinking of the other Ryan Reynolds brain-switching movie.
Stop it. There's 2?
There are 2.
Dude, this is news to me, and I am co-host of a movie podcast.
So the Ben King... So the one you're talking about is called Self/Less. Selfless.
Yes. Right, which is like a Tarsem movie.
That's correct. I think so. Don't quote me on that.
I think it is.
That's essentially a remake of a movie called Seconds, directed by John Frankenheimer and starring Rock Hudson.
Okay.
Which is very good, actually. I'd recommend you check that out. Seconds.
Okay.
But I have not seen Selfless. I did see Criminal, and I think Ryan Reynolds should stop doing body switching movies.
Well, he did one with Bateman. Jason Bateman, too. Remember a couple years back?
That's right. Okay, so he really needs to stop doing body-switching movies.
That is hilarious.
It's funny to me that maybe it's just something about that premise that lights his fire.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Now, the week after The Jungle Book, which we loved, was The Huntsman Winter's War.
That happened.
Which you did not see that, right? I took the bullet for both
and
of
I'm
us.
not opposed to it. It sounds like I'm opposed to it. I'm not opposed to it, but that... is also something that I will admit I didn't have any interest in.
Are you ever going to watch it?
No.
Okay, so then you're opposed to it.
I support those who enjoy it.
Listen, anyone who enjoyed...
Wow, Jason's right.
Yeah, come on. work with me a little bit here. If you enjoyed The Huntsman Winter's War, you as a definitive, verifiable, scientific fact have a bad taste in movies.
Right.
Because I'll tell you something. Chris Hemsworth did not enjoy The Huntsman Winter's War.
I can't imagine. I don't know, but it was sort of like
Jessica Chastain on her face. It's like she's in a hostage video.
Wasn't it? From what I could tell from the trailers, it almost looked like trying to make like a live action Frozen.
It had it's like Brozen. Because it's the Ice Queen and then with a little more Hemsworth in it.
Okay.
And I think Chris Hemsworth was essentially a prisoner of the sequel clause in his contract.
Sure.
So I don't think anybody was a willful participant in that movie.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson narrates it.
Really?
For no reason.
Huh. So
there's an easy,
He must have been in the cafeteria on the lot one day.
Yeah, I think he was driving by and they just flagged him in. And yeah, I mean, he's like, the beginning is a dangerous time or whatever. I don't remember the narration, but it's like, wait a minute, is that Liam? What is he doing here? So he made out the best in The Huntsman Winter's War, actually. Did you ever end up seeing Keanu? Because that came out the following week.
No, that's one of those weird ones. I was sort of waiting for streaming for that because I thought that would be sort of like a treat on a Friday night after work when I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I still haven't just had the opportunity to get to it. But it's one that, you know what I mean? Where you have like that list where you're like, as soon as I get a moment, this is the thing I'm going to rent. So it's still that for me. I
think Keanu is probably one of the bigger disappointments of this past year for me.
I've heard that, and I'm aware of that, and I know that sort of going in, which is unfortunate because I mean I love Key and Peele.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer, but I can believe that maybe it feels like a sketch premise stretched out a little too long.
A little too long, and I think you just both from Key and Peele and also from the trailer and stuff, you kind of expect a little more. And sure. I remember while watching the movie, I was kind of like, I'm not enjoying this the way I should be. You're like, what's wrong with me? Like, maybe I'm the problem here,
Right.
Now, that being said, I did get to talk to Key and Peele in connection to the film, which is one of the highlights of my, existence.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
So that's a pleasant memory that I will carry with me forever.
Well, then it was worth it.
It was worth it just for that. But kind of a disappointment. It at the box office, it cost $15 million. It only made $20 million. So I mean, once you factor in P&A and all that, I mean, it ends up being in the red probably.
Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean, they sell to foreign and cable and blah blah blah.
They probably do okay, but I mean, you have to figure.
But it wasn't what they were hoping.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they were hoping to make more than $20 million.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't see it becoming a cult hit the way Office Space and Idiocracy and those type of movies have become.
That's too bad.
I don't see enough meat in the premise.
Yeah.
But moving on, the first official movie of the summer is Captain America: Civil War,
which just came out recently, right, on home video
on digital, and then it'll.
I don't even know what to call it anymore. Not home video.
Yeah, and I know. Well, we have digital and then physical media or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's on digital. It's not on Blu-ray yet. I think by next week it will be.
I see.
And I've seen this twice in the theater. I haven't seen it since. I'm really looking forward to watching it again. But I think that qualitatively, this was a high point for the summer, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I enjoyed it a lot. That was one when I flipped on my PlayStation and saw a little ad for it, and I was like, I want to watch that again.
Yeah. And
I got to admit, I like the Marvel movies, but I don't rewatch them a lot, aside from, say, like the Avengers or Iron Man or something like that. Because I enjoy them and I enjoy the pieces that they are to the puzzle of the story. But like I said, I just don't repeat a lot of them. But this was one that I am inclined to go back and watch again. So,
see, I think for me, I always love kind of skimming through the MCU movies.
Mm-hmm.
I always love jumping to specific sequences and stuff. So to me, to some extent, I'm always watching one or the other at just bits and pieces of them.
Sure.
But I'm really looking forward to this, and I'm already excited about Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
You know, I think for me, I've mentioned this before, but like it's become a tradition that, you know, I take the boys and, you know, it's a Marvel movie and I know I'm okay with those, you know?
Mm-hmm. For sure. And this one looks very different than the others. I mean, obviously.
I'm excited about that, just that it looks different.
Yeah, it really does. And I don't even just mean, I mean, some people said it sort of looks like Inception, the superhero Inception movie, which it totally does because the city's flipping out themselves and whatnot. But even that aside, like there's just something about the look and the feel in a similar way. I think that Guardians of the Galaxy feels, you know, like it can be a Marvel movie, but it doesn't feel like all the others.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a turn on for me, for sure.
Totally agree. Yeah. So summer got off to a good start with Captain America: Civil War. Things stumbled pretty rapidly thereafter. Now, the following week was Money Monster, which I don't think you ever ended up seeing.
No, I didn't really have any interest in it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the movie that our parents would watch when they go to the theater, you know?
Yeah, it just looked like a soapbox movie to me.
Yes.
About something that is like so obvious.
You know? Now, interesting thing about Money Monster is that it was actually one of this summer's success stories.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, in terms of money spent, $27 million. And it made about $94 million at the box office.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. You know, I just read an interview with Mel Gibson at Deadline.com.
Yeah.
Where his movie, oh, damn it, what's it called?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. It's coming up. Got a really good reception at Venice.
Fantastic reviews.
Yeah, and he was talking about summer films and Batman and whatnot. And his
specifically Batman v Superman.
Well, yeah, he was not a fan.
Yeah.
And but he was just talking about how it's crazy. You know, he didn't have a huge budget on his film, and he was talking about there's no need to have a huge budget on all these movies. And it's kind of interesting. I mean, that it just triggered that because, yeah, you make this movie. There's no reason for that Money Monster movie to cost more than, say, whatever it was, 27 or something you said. Yeah. But, like, even if they spent, like, 50.
That's the exact amount of money you want to spend on that movie.
On exactly that. And then it doesn't need any more than that, and it could probably make, you know, at least double that back. I mean, that's just smart, you know, filmmaking business-wise.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, a lot of these studios are setting their sights a little too high in terms of box office. And I mean, I think that when you have, again, talking about something like Captain America: Civil War, well, you spend $250 million on that, which might seem exorbitant for any other movie. Mm-hmm. But that's a movie that you know you're going to make more than $1 billion on.
Yeah.
And beyond even the box office, you can understand why they're spending so much money on it, because for Disney, it's the box office is just one piece of the pie.
Right.
It's the action figures and the everything else that goes with it. And the story of this summer, in terms of the big blockbuster releases, is Hollywood spending about 50% more on these movies than they have any rational reason to.
Right, right.
So Money Monster, actually, again, one of the success stories. The following week, unfortunately, is one of the flops of the summer, and that's The Nice Guys. Yeah.
That was, which we both enjoyed.
We did.
Yeah,
and we're not alone. I mean, it was beloved by critics.
Yeah,
and it was beloved by anyone who saw it.
Yeah, yeah. It's, you know, the Shane Black writing, directing, doing what he does best, which is putting two people who don't get along together in the middle of a mystery, solving something. Yeah, and having to work together and ultimately coming to respect each other. And it's just that. Yeah, and it's just this kind of cool, you know, gritty. It's definitely earned its R rating and its sort of seediness. You know, the sort of seedy mystery that they get thrust into, but there's also sort of this weird lightness to it, whereas no matter what darkness is going on, these two guys are experiencing some sort of like comedy among it. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. And
$50 million, which it's kind of like, I don't know, you know, that does seem kind of high, I guess, for a movie like this.
Yeah, it feels like that could have been a 30 or something, but it's also a period movie, right? Am I wrong?
Yes, in the 70s.
Isn't that funny? I didn't even remember because it's
almost incidental.
Yeah, yeah.
But it only made 36 million in the States, and then another 20 or so internationally. So
I have a feeling that's going to be one of those movies that comes up on cable that people can't turn off.
It's going to become a beloved cult item, just like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I would expect.
Which I would say I did enjoy that more.
Yes,
if I had to compare,
I would agree. But I mean, honestly, for me, it's a difference of degrees.
Sure.
It's because I think they're both great.
Yeah, and it's funny. I feel like I keep having this moment where I'm like, do I like Ryan Gosling? And then like I'll watch, like Drive. I'm like, yeah, he's really good. And then he'll come out with another movie. I'm like, do I like Ryan Gosling? And then like Nice Guys comes out. I'm like, yeah, he's really good. So I think I like Ryan Gosling.
Well, I'm with you for now.
Yeah.
Until he gives me reason to think otherwise.
Well, we'll see what happens with Blade Runner 2, right?
Yeah. Well, that's going to be. Did
you ever think we'd be saying Blade Runner 2?
Yeah, that's. I still haven't wrapped my head around that. The fact that that's going to be existing.
Yeah.
Now, did you watch Neighbors 2?
Yes, I did. Wait, can I real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to say, as we're going chronologically, I was looking at my list of things that I had watched, and I saw something called The Do-Over. And I go, The Do-Over? The Do-Over? What was The Do-Over?
What is The Do-Over?
I had to go on IMDb, and The Do-Over was that straight-to-Netflix Adam Sandler, David Spade movie.
Oh,
isn't that hilarious?
That's so funny.
I had no idea what that was. So I only bring it up that I did watch it. It wasn't very good, but I will probably still poke my head around the corner to see the next Adam Sandler movie that goes straight to Netflix, because I don't know, but I will.
Well, next time that thought crosses your mind, just get a hammer and hit yourself on the toe with it.
Well, it's one of those things, and I didn't mean to get in this whole conversation, but I was there at the beginning with Adam Sandler, with Billy Madison, which I still love, Happy Gilmore, which I love, all those movies. So I think there's just this thing.
You're just hoping to be there at the end.
I know where he's at, and I don't like where he's at, but I'm still, if it's for free and thrown up on my television.
Emphasis on thrown up.
Yeah, well, yeah. But you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to take a peek. So, it is what it is. But anyway, Neighbors 2.
You see what he's doing, Jason? He won't even deride an Adam Sandler movie.
No, it was absolutely terrible.
Oh, okay.
Terrible. It was a great idea. It looked like they even had a bit of a budget. Not good. But I'm saying, my bad. I'll probably go back.
It's funny. I just saw David Spade as the roast master at the roast of Rob Lowe. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see that.
I think that's the most alive I've seen him in the last 10 years.
I like David Spade. I think he's a talented guy.
No, me too. But I mean, he, he's locked into kind of his persona.
Sure.
And I almost feel bad for him because whenever, he's been on several different TV shows, but he plays David Spade. He's the David Spade character.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
I'll say this too. Maybe this will be controversial, and I know you won't disagree with me, but I really like Kevin James.
Me too, man.
And I just feel like I think he's a talented guy. I feel like he's a capable guy. I think he's got a genuine comedic ability and talent, but I don't think he's in good things.
So here's the thing. It's sort of a thing to criticize the King of Queens. And I'm fairly certain that every single person who criticizes the King of Queens and calls it a shitty show has never seen it.
Sure. I think King of Queens is funny.
Yeah. I think it's legitimately funny. I think it's subversive. I think it's clever in a way that a lot of sitcoms aren't. And I think it's just, because it's the fat guy and the hot wife and that sort of trope.
Sure.
And sort of it gets lumped in with according to Jim or whatever,
Oh, no.
And it's just not. And so, I agree with you. I mean, I think Kevin James is a really talented guy, and I think he should not have hitched his ride to the Happy Madison thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously kept him afloat these years, and so in a way I can't blame him.
Yeah.
But I mean, think of someone like him or like David Spade. I think these are guys that are genuine talents that just aren't allowed to shine in a way that I think they're capable of.
Yeah, totally agree.
But
But yeah, definitely check out that roast because he gets some good one-liners off.
Sure, yeah, I'll check that out.
That, by the way, so Ann Coulter was one of the roasters at this.
Yes,
And
I heard that.
Yeah, and I mean, she walked into a chainsaw during this movie.
Well, see, I wondered actually if that was like their ulterior motive. It's like, what is there really to talk about with Rob Lowe except for things that happened over 20 years ago?
So true.
But so it was just like, how can we get Ann Coulter in the room? You know, and like make her think it's not about her, but it really is.
It was like what it was like, you know, in Airplane where the one woman is freaking out and then somebody's like, "Calm down," and hey, get out of the way. And it's just you see this long line. That's what it was like, because it was basically 10 people in a row being like, "Ann Coulter, kill yourself and die."
Jeez.
And at some point I felt bad for Ann Coulter.
Right.
But then you see her get up and she does her thing, and oh my gosh, it was that. Then I really felt bad for her because it was like pin drop silence.
Oh wow.
Which is, you know, the thing about any of these roasts is they only work if people are laughing.
Yeah.
So there's a whole separate conversation about sort of the efficacy of these Comedy Central roasts.
Yeah, I enjoy watching them. Whether or not I actually enjoy them sort of depends. But
I think that the secret is that the barbs have to be coming from close friends of the people being roasted.
See, that's the weird thing about those things is sometimes there's people up there that are just completely unrelated, and they'll even call it out, like, I don't even know you, but
that's less funny,
idiot.
right?
Yeah,
like it's like I was actually thinking about this as I was watching it. I was like, what would I like if I was going to roast you specifically, you, Brian? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what I'd say first of all because there's nothing to say, but that's like you would laugh because it's me, your buddy,
you, yeah,
you know. But if it's like, you know, I don't know, some random guy who I know who I bring in who doesn't know you, like it's weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what happens. I watch these celebrity roasts and I imagine what it's like to say horrible things about my close friends.
you have this like notebook that one day I'm going to be like using the restroom at your house, and I'm going to find this notebook behind the the trash can, and I'm going to be like,
Brian,
hey, what's
insults.
this? Yeah.
Now, by the way, Angry Birds, the movie, opened the same day as The Nice Guys. And
which is getting a sequel.
Of course it's getting a sequel because you know, we live in a horrible world, you know?
Well, you know, you're actually different. I was going to say, you know, you have kids and sometimes you just have to throw something on that's appropriate for them, and you know, how many times are they going to watch, I was going to say Frozen, even though I doubt your kids will watch Frozen. But you know what I'm saying? Like, is it just one of those, like, well, I can take my kid to this?
Well, I took my boys to this.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a press screening, and I fell asleep. Did
your kids like it?
I think they did, but whatever. They're kids.
Why not? Yeah, exactly.
So $73 million budget, $350 million worldwide.
You know what's kind of funny, by the way, is like when we were growing up, I don't think adults chimed in so much about kids' movies.
That's true too.
You know,
Pixar sort of reset the dynamic for that.
Yeah, and so I mean, it's like if Pixar is going to make something, of course we're going to examine it because it's worthy of being examined, and it sort of asks to be examined in some ways. But like sometimes it's okay just to have a kids movie come out that's just strictly for kids.
Well, this is most definitely that.
Yeah.
So it exists, and I hated every second of it that I was awake during.
Yeah.
The stuff that I slept through, I greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
The movie was poo, though.
Yeah.
May 27th, Alice Through the Looking Glass, one of the biggest flops of the year.
Wow.
Now, tell me, Brian, I think we predicted this thing would flop the instant it was announced.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was like, Disney has announced Alice Through the... And I was like, flop.
Yeah, or just absolute zero interest. Like, of course, and we talked about this on our show. I mean, the first one made over $1 billion, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
You know, that's like superhero money. And so if you're a studio, you have to make a sequel.
Yeah.
You just do. But it was one of those things where there's certain ones you're like, well, I'm kind of curious what that'll look like. Or, but this was like, no, zero interest in revisiting this world. And looked like everyone agreed.
The original cost between $150 and $200 million, it made $1.025 billion. That's in 2010. The second one cost $170 million, which, what the F, Disney? Really?
Dude.
Right?
Yeah.
And it made $295 million.
Yeah.
So this might be the biggest gap box office wise between a first movie and a second movie.
Yeah.
It's think about this. It made $700 million less than the first one.
Where was everybody? Don't you kind of want to ask the people that, had shirts or whatever, loved the first one? Like, why didn't you go?
Because I don't think anybody who watched the first one loved it. I think the baseline reaction was,
Sure.
right? So there was no, there was no groundswell, and then they waited 6 years.
Right.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
I mean, I could see a scenario where in 2012 they came out with this movie and it would have done better.
Right. Not as well, but better.
I mean, it would have made more than $700 million less. That's insane.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It looked exactly like the first one, and I don't know, maybe that's the problem.
Yeah, because I mean, I thought the first one was shit anyway, so I'm completely not the right person to ask about that. I was in awe of the fact that the first one made more than $1 billion.
Yeah, I remember being kind of indifferent to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's most people.
Yeah. It was. I don't think I didn't think it was horrible, but like, I wasn't thinking about it the second the credits started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of indifferent, the same weekend that Alice Through the Looking Glass came out, X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah.
And this is kind of an interesting one because I think the audience was indifferent to this one. Now, it made just under $550 million worldwide. It made $155 million domestically, which is the lowest of all the X-Men movies, I believe.
That feels like what you would imagine the budget would be.
Budget was $178 million. So,
there you go.
So okay, first of all, again, this is the what we're talking about. It should not be, that movie did not look like it cost $180 million.
No.
And it didn't need to.
No, I completely agree.
So, I mean, what we talked about before was, I think both of us were pretty, actively indifferent towards this one.
Yeah, this was one of those things where I remember my brother got to go to a test screening of it.
Yeah.
Almost a year before it came out. And I use him a lot as a barometer because we have very similar tastes, but he doesn't follow this stuff like we do, like movie news and whatnot. So his opinion is very pure,
sure.
if you will.
Sure.
And I remember he came back from the test screen and he goes, no.
But
he's like,
why did he say that?
He was like this. He likes the X-Men movies, and he's like, they've set up this world. They've set up this sort of, these kids have these powers, but it's in a world where JFK is president or has been president, and this has happened and whatever. And there's sort of this cool real world element to their magical world.
Yes.
And he said this one just felt like some sort of random comic book movie.
Yeah.
I remember he said that like over a year ago. And so then when I went and saw it, I was like, exactly that.
Yeah.
Like everything he said is what I felt when I walked out of it. Like it was fine. Like it was, 2 passable hours, but it didn't feel special.
I remember seeing this because they screened it for press slightly early. And so I saw it just a few days after seeing Captain America Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
And the contrast could not have been more stark. I think everything Captain America Civil War did right, X-Men Apocalypse did wrong. It was the blue beam, of course. Mm-hmm. The dreaded blue beam, which we got twice this summer, by the way.
Yeah.
And, it's just, it was just a whatever. Now, it wasn't like, oh, I'm done with this franchise, which is what
no.
some critics were saying. But I feel, whenever they have these franchises, I'm always kind of like, you know what? You can't assume that just because you've been around a while, you'll get to keep coming back. You have to make every at-bat count.
Well, and especially when you aren't special anymore.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like when the first X-Men came out, it was special because comic book movies aren't what they are now. But now we get comic book movies every month.
Or twice a month.
Yeah, so it's like you have to give us something that we haven't seen before. And I mean, I wonder if this movie had come out, say, 10 years ago or something, if we'd be a little easier on it.
Yeah.
But it felt so familiar.
You know, you have to wonder if Fox is right now looking at the fact that they spent $178 million on this and they made about $543 back, versus Deadpool, which they spent $58 million on and almost $800 million in box office.
Yeah.
You know, they have to be thinking at it as like, well, what's wrong with this picture, you know? And I'm wondering what lessons...
What I just said. It was we'd never seen that before.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, you could say that it was vulgar and funny and crass and whatever it was. And that's true, and that's what it was, and we haven't seen it. And it doesn't mean that every movie needs to be Deadpool, but you've got to find the thing that makes you, right? Where you're not indistinguishable from any other sort of superhero film. Like, why do I want to come see this because it's X-Men?
Right.
You know, and I just didn't really get that from this one.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, the next Wolverine movie, Old Man Logan, is filming right now. Mm-hmm. We'll see if which trend line that follows, whether it goes in the Deadpool direction or in the X-Men Apocalypse direction.
Yeah, that's got a lot riding on it, huh? I mean, that's kind of the end of an era.
It really is, yeah, and they need to do some serious reassessing. I mean, is it time to just cut the cord and restart from scratch with X-Men?
Yeah, it's going to be weird, because, I mean, yeah, they're mixing actors and generations and whatnot, but all those actors and generations have encountered Hugh Jackman Wolverine.
Exactly.
So
they're stuck now.
Yeah.
Now, the following week, Me Before You, which is one of the biggest successes of the year.
Wow.
$20 million budget, $200 million worldwide.
Whoa. I had no idea.
Yeah. It just quietly became this massive hit.
Wow.
Now, as you know, I interviewed Emilia Clarke on this show, and she is my new crush.
Right.
She was fantastic. One of the best interviews I've done. Did you ever see this movie?
I did not.
Well, that makes absolute sense, because you are 100% not in the demographic that this movie is aimed at.
Sure.
This movie is aimed at my wife and people like my wife.
Okay.
So, if you're into, you know, quadriplegic love stories, seems like a pretty narrow demo for that.
Yeah.
I did not like the movie, by the way, just to be clear. So the fact that it did, I'm like, imagine if it was a good movie. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, sure.
Did you ever see Popstar?
I did.
I can't remember. Did we talk about this?
I think we did. I probably brought it up briefly, but Popstar...
Another big flop, by the way.
Yeah. You know, Judd Apatow produced, starring the Lonely Island guys, and it's basically... a lot of people are calling it like Spinal Tap for the millennial generation or whatever. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
You know, I think there was a lot of hype for this going in. I read somewhere, a couple of people, I feel like, called it like the next Anchorman, like the funniest movie since Anchorman.
Sure.
And I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, with Anchorman, if someone's referencing that, what I imagine that means is a movie that's sort of subversive and broad and really surprises you, and something you're going to like remember and be thinking about and quoting, and it's going to be emulated for years to come. And I didn't think this was that at all. Like, this just felt like, no. And I like these guys. I'm a fan of these guys. And I think this is going to play way better streaming, because it really just felt like a Funny or Die sketch stretched out to 90 minutes. And that's not a slam. I mean, it had some good laughs in it and whatnot, but it didn't have anything that made it feel like an event to go out to seek out. So yeah, I think it's just whatever.
Well, that's kind of disappointing in and of itself.
Yeah, it kind of is, because I really like I say, I like those guys, and I really want to see them succeed and continue to. I want to see them push comedy, because I think they're capable of it, and I just don't feel like this movie did that.
I think that their humor is geared towards a viral video culture.
Totally agree, and that's a strength.
Yeah,
you know, that's not to be
that's not a pejorative. Yeah,
diminished. Yeah, exactly.
But I don't think it translates towards like a feature palette.
Yeah, and so, like I said, I think people are going to rent this and have a good time just chilling out with it. But as like an event to go out to the theater for, I was a little let down with it.
Well, yet another disappointment, and this is the story of the summer, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, that same. Like, we both thought that the sequel was better than the first one, but no one sought to agree with us.
So this is, Scott Mendelson, who does box office for Forbes, he has this thing he calls the Tomb Raider trap. And this is the essentially the situation where you have a mediocre first movie that does really well because of name recognition or what have you, and thus prompts a sequel. But the sequel, which is better, is ignored because people who saw the first one didn't like it.
Sure.
And I think there's no better exemplar of that, the Tomb Raider trap, other than Tomb Raider, than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, this new version.
Yeah, and to be clear, I mean, it's not like we think this is like, peak cinema or anything.
It is not.
For the two of us that grew up Ninja Turtle fans in the early 90s, this movie actually felt of a piece with the 90s cartoon, I think.
Yeah, I think tonally it represented what this franchise should be.
Right.
Which is something big and fun and silly and
silly.
and family friendly.
Right.
And so the fact that, I mean, it ended up it didn't even make $100 million domestically. I think it made $82 million.
Oh wow!
And then about 160 worldwide. So against a $135 million budget, I think that means that we're probably not going to get a third one of these. I'm guessing.
Yeah, but I kind of hope that hope when we talk about it, the Turtles aren't going anywhere. They keep coming back in cycles, and now
this is Paramount, which is doesn't have a lot of franchises. So I could see them in a scenario where they cut the budget. I mean, get it down to like, I don't know, $75 million.
I was just gonna say 75.
Is that even possible? I don't know.
That's tough because they're all 4 CG creations that need to be really articulate. But I don't know. I'm sure it can be done. I mean, if you get creative, say like Deadpool wise, in terms of the scope of your movie.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. I think the first one had a big blue beam shooting into the sky, and you don't need to do that.
You really don't.
No.
It's very true.
I mean, think of the first 90s one. Even though I know some people would be like, oh, well, things have changed. It's like, I don't really know that it has. I mean, it was just them squaring off with Shredder on a rooftop. And it was really, I thought it was palpable.
Yeah, and I think it still holds up, I've watched it relatively recently.
I do, too. I'm sure I've got nostalgia blinders on to some degree. But I truly do feel like, maybe technological things aside, I think that movie really survives as a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I totally do. But regardless, I mean, the film was a disappointment. But if you haven't seen it, folks, check it out. I mean, maybe lower expectations and don't. What I've said before, and this got me into trouble before because I recommended this to my students, and I was like, it's aimed at the 8-year-old version of me.
That is the best way to put it.
And I made that clear in my review and whatnot. People are like, oh, watch it, it sucked. I'm like, yeah, but you got to, no, 8-year-old. You got to reset your mind,
Yeah.
Now, another June release was Warcraft, which I friggin' despised this movie.
I never saw it.
I hated it basically minutes into its running time.
Why? Why off the bat? When you say that specifically, why off the bat? What did it do?
It was one of the most visually unappealing films I have ever seen. Like the motion capture that's used to create these creatures. Mm-hmm. I literally, the movie starts and I'm like, I do not want to spend 2 hours with these creatures.
Yeah, sure.
And if you've seen the trailer, you have a sense of what I'm talking about. And then it gets into, and the Fel and the Draenei and the Azeroth and the whatever the F. And I'm like, I don't care about any of this stuff,
Sure.
It's like if Phantom Menace was the first Star Wars movie ever.
All right.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because that I've said all along, right? That that movie is not a good introduction to that galaxy because it assumes that you're already conversant in all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And it does nothing to welcome you in.
Right.
There's no, you watch the original Star Wars and it's Obi-Wan's kind of, there's this, and this, and the Force is this, and and you're gradually introduced to the world. This is just like, Warcraft. Like, what do you mean? You're not into Warcraft? Jackass? And so now our friend Paul Shirey, who, of course, Joe Blow editor-in-chief, he loved it.
Mm-hmm. And
I want to see the movie that he loved. Because I thought it was just friggin' awful.
Yeah.
Did you end up seeing it?
No.
And you have no desire, I'm assuming.
No.
Now, interesting thing about this. This was an absolute disaster domestically.
Uh-huh.
Like, without a doubt. 160 million. It's made 47 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
But worldwide, what was it?
So worldwide, when you include international and domestic, about 430 million.
Okay.
So actually a pretty big hit worldwide.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
I'm sure it translates easily, right?
Well, my understanding is that the part of the reason it did so well internationally was because of the Chinese box office.
Mm-hmm.
Because Warcraft, the game, is huge in China.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there you go.
Okay.
So we could conceivably see a sequel to Warcraft that doesn't even go to theaters here.
Well, that's the world we're stepping into, huh?
I guess. But, I mean, seriously, this sucked 8 kinds of ass. It was a terrible movie.
See that on the DVD.
There you go. Quote. So Warcraft, another big budget mega flop. Finding Dory, yet another mega hit from Disney, another $1 billion plus movie. No shock there.
Yeah, am I wrong? It's the highest grossing animated film of all time?
That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it. Bear in mind, I haven't even seen Finding Nemo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Did you see Finding Dory?
I did. Yeah, Finding Dory. Finding Dory was one of those movies that I liked well enough watching it.
Sure.
But I don't know that it, stuck with me. And it wasn't that it was forgettable, because it is... That was a weird one. Because it had all of the, like, Hallmark true emotional resonance that a Pixar film has, but the second half of it sort of steeped into cartoonish territory.
Sure.
I realize I'm talking about a cartoon.
You are talking about a cartoon.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like the movie starts with like these sort of real emotional stakes of like identity and losing a parent and, feeling like I'm holding people back and those sorts of like complex ideas for a kid's movie. But then it ends with an octopus successfully driving a truck, on a freeway in a way where you're sort of like, I thought maybe it was just me. And I was like, man, that's kind of nuts that that's actually happening. And B, that is really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like people could die. I don't know if I can enjoy this. And it's funny because I was surprised how many other people on different podcasts, friends that I talked to, all had that same thought during that moment.
Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, so it just felt tonally a little out of whack. And there's another character, too. This is getting a little specific as we're doing broad strokes. But I remember there's a character of these seals hanging out on a rock. And there was like a, for lack of better words, quote-unquote dumb-looking seal that wanted up on the rock. And finally these jerk seals leave and then the dumb one gets on. And it just felt really sort of juvenile and almost cruel. So it a lot of it felt tonally out of whack with the other things that were going on that felt really sweet and genuine.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of a weird movie to me, even though overall I'd say, it's a decent watch, but I didn't feel like it sat comfortably with the classics.
I see.
In the Pixar pantheon.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the reactions to, or the anticipation, I have to say, for Finding Dory among my students who were very little when the first one came out.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what did they feel?
Well, just the anticipation, right?
Oh, I see.
Because it's 13 years between movies, right?
Oh, that's sure.
And if let's say you were 5 when the first one came out,
Mm-hmm.
It's like a Star Wars sequel or something for us.
Yeah, sure.
Because between Jedi and Phantom Menace, what was it, like 16 years?
Yeah, about that, right?
Let's see. No, that was 13 years.
Was that it?
Wait, hold on. No. It would have been 16 years. Yeah,
16, yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, though,
Mm-hmm.
Like, so...
and did they like it?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because I haven't really had those conversations. The general sense I have is that people prefer the original. Which I mean is typically that's
the case.
Understandable. But still, pretty big, another hit. See, this is why Disney's not sweating it too much about Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Sure, yeah. And then they've got Star Wars taking care of Marvel.
Yeah, so I mean, just,
all right.
you've got Finding Dory, Captain America: Civil War. That's their year, and Jungle Book before that.
Yeah, and then they've got all these live action adaptations of their animated films. And they have Beauty and the Beast coming up, which is
that later this year?
I know there's a trailer out, so it almost feels like it would be, but maybe
that's with
it's
Hermione,
next
right?
spring.
What's her face?
Yeah,
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. But I mean, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense when I heard about that. But then I start talking to people, women that I work with, and that's their Star Wars.
That's so funny.
Not to be, to generalize, but I mean, seriously, like I've talked to so many women who just loved Beauty and the Beast growing up, and they are like highly anticipating this movie.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, like I didn't realize there was such I knew people would go see it, but I didn't realize there was such anticipation for it. So I have a feeling that one's going to be huge.
Probably. Well, I think that's probably a safe bet.
Yeah.
Now, what you'd think would have been a safe bet is Steven Spielberg doing a blockbuster based on a best-selling children's book.
Yeah.
The BFG, one of the biggest flops of the year.
One of the biggest flops going.
Now it's his biggest flop ever. I think it might be his only flop.
To this 1941, degree. Right? Well, to this degree.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it is his biggest flop.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is at the John Williams show actually there was he did play BFG there, interestingly enough.
And nobody knew what it was.
No. I only knew what it was because I just listened to the soundtrack on YouTube.
Okay.
Maybe a couple weeks before, and I recognized it. But yeah, man, I mean,
about $55 million domestically.
Yeah.
$140 million budget. So it's made 160 total against $140 million budget.
Wow. You gotta wonder, because I mean, Spielberg is an interesting guy. I mean, obviously to folks like you and I mean, he is like otherworldly. You know what I mean? And like he will always be Steven Spielberg, even like almost like a verb or something, or I don't know what you want to call it. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not like a man. Like he's an idea.
Yeah.
or something.
Right. He's a concept.
He's a concept.
Who, by the way, Shia LaBeouf is sure torching the bridge out of Spielberg Town. Yeah. Spielbergburg.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Shia LaBeouf gave this interview to, I want to say it was Variety, where he's basically like, yeah, Steven Spielberg. Like, I'm just like, what's he trying to prove at this point?
I know. But it's Steve, weird to see
he's
this.
Not so big.
It's just weird to see.
You picture Spielberg, him like flicking a cigarette as he's doing that, like whatever. Steve,
LaBeouf?
Yeah,
LaBeouf or whatever. Yeah. Whatever. But I just, it's weird. I think to see Spielberg in this era where I'm like, oh, like I don't know, like it's weird that he's doing things that people don't care about.
Well,
you know,
did you see the BFG?
No, I mean exactly that. And I'm a Spielberg loyalist, and I will see it. I will absolutely watch it strictly because I want to see anything the man points a camera at. So I will eventually see it, but it wasn't enough to get me out to theaters.
Right.
You know? But I just... what my point was, if you read and follow Spielberg as closely as I do, and you read all his interviews, you come to realize, A, he's a very, very smart person. He's a very showman-y kind of guy. Like he kind of knows what to say to like put up this like almost like Barnum-esque sort of persona and whimsy and whatnot. But at the same time, he also seems like he's very protected from the world.
Yes.
It seems.
Which is understandable almost.
Absolutely, but almost in a way that you wouldn't believe in this internet age. Like, he seems very shielded. And so it makes me wonder if you could ever get an honest moment out of him, what he would say about this experience.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
And he's all but apologized for Crystal Skull, which I think is the most candid we've probably ever seen him about any of his own movies.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd be curious if one day he would open up about it, and I'd be curious what he'd have to say about this experience.
About why it didn't play the way it should have, in theory.
Yeah. Go from being the undisputed king of the mountain to, making a movie and no one coming.
I mean, again, it goes to budget again, but I'm like, who thought that there was an audience waiting for a movie based on the BFG?
I have no idea. Personally, I don't have any connection to that story, but it seems some people do.
Yeah, I mean, it's the book is fine. Like, I'm not denigrating it, but there's not $140 million worth of an audience.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So I don't. Now, bear in mind, the same time that the BFG opened, we had The Purge, the latest Purge movie, and $10 million budget, $110 million return.
Man, yeah.
That's doing it right.
Yeah. I don't know that those are Blumhouse movies, but let's just call it like the Blumhouse formula, where you make this sort of low-budget horror film that's just inevitably going to deliver. Yeah, it's just kind of a smart business move.
It is Blumhouse, by the way.
Oh, is it? So there you go.
Yeah, or at least it's Jason Blum. I don't know if he's one of the producers, so I'm assuming.
Right.
But I mean, now obviously $10 million, that you can really only do that with a horror movie.
Sure.
But I mean, a lot of these mega budget movies, it's like find a way to work in your limitations. It just doesn't make any sense how they're just lavishing money on these. And a perfect example of that, again, same weekend as Legend of Tarzan, which actually did pretty well. But not when you take its budget into account.
Oh, what was his budget?
So the movie cost $180 million.
Okay.
Now it made
seems like a lot for a Tarzan movie.
For a Tarzan movie, it's a lot. And bear in mind, we don't really see that money on the screen. Because the renderers of the effects feel very incomplete.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
considering it doesn't really have any stars in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I said this at the time, that, I mean, when you compare Tarzan with the Jungle Book, it just looks like an inferior copy.
Sure.
So, I mean, Tarzan made $126 million domestically.
Which I'd say, if you hadn't spent that budget, otherwise you should feel pretty good about that.
That's my point. You spend $100 million on a Tarzan movie, you make $126 million, you should call that a win. Right. And be happy about it.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just baffling to me. Like, who signs off on this? Again, who is thinking that there's an audience for a $180 million Tarzan movie?
Man. Just shy of $200 million on Tarzan. I have no idea.
You know what I mean?
I'd really be curious to see. Because they don't just, like, do this based on their gut. I mean, there's, like, metrics.
That's what I'm saying.
And, like, math. I wonder what their math is like.
Does Tarzan have rocket boots? Right? Does he fight Captain America in this movie?
Well, and that's not to say that there couldn't be a good, entertaining Tarzan movie. But it's just, what were they thinking spending that much money on it? It should have been scaled back.
To me, you spend $100 million, and even that, honestly, is a gamble.
Right.
For a Tarzan movie. But it's a slightly safer gamble than, $200 million.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
What are you, out of your mind?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense,
Yeah. But that was like a slow and steady.
Yeah, I mean, again, 126. It stayed pretty consistent, and people seem to like it. I wasn't crazy about it, but it seems like people who see it do enjoy it, and I don't think it's bad. I just think it's kind of whatever.
Yeah.
But that's the story of the summer. Another mega budget film that ended up being a disappointment. We've spent so much time talking about this that I will just gloss over it very quickly here. Is of course Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Is there anything left to say about this at this point?
I don't know that there is. I think, if to sum it up in a sentence or two, it was fine. There were some missteps. There were some things they got right.
Will they fix it in the sequel? No, they won't, because there won't be one.
Yeah.
And don't let anyone convince you otherwise, folks. There will not be a sequel to this movie.
Oh, here we go.
It's just not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, where we're sitting right now, that seems to be the case.
Look at the numbers. Right, $144 million budget. It $225 million worldwide.
But what do you do when you're Sony and you're sitting on the Ghostbusters property?
You don't do anything. You continue to sell T-shirts.
I agree with you from what I would think is, respectful and smart and whatnot. But at the same time, thinking like a businessman. I don't know.
I think that they spent 25 years trying to make another Ghostbusters movie. They made one, and people didn't show up.
Mm-hmm. But Sony doesn't have a lot of franchises. They got Spider-Man and whatnot, but they've got this thing, Ghostbusters. I mean, people like Ghostbusters, and they whiffed. Maybe I'm not saying creatively. That's up to the viewers to decide if they liked it or not. But financially speaking, it was a swing and a miss, so to speak. So
the Hollywood Reporter said that they'd end up losing $70 million on this movie.
Yeah.
Now you lose that much money. I mean, it's kind of like clearly it's too big a risk.
Or do you recalibrate? I don't know. I just feel like there's too much riding on this. They opened like their own little like Ghostbusters production company. Like it's its own company now because they're hoping to do. Remember, they want to make an animated movie. They want to do all this sort of stuff.
Okay, so the animated movie we talked about, the animated movie will never happen. We know that.
And maybe it'll be one of those like straight to DVD things.
That
like
I
DC
could.
does.
So I see a scenario where we get maybe another TV series, maybe something straight to video, but there will be no sequel to this movie.
To this particular film, probably not. But maybe it'll be like a Fantastic Four situation, where they'll try to start it up again.
And that went so well.
Well,
Yeah. It reminds me of like back in the late 90s, I think it was, they made Evolution. Remember that Ivan Reitman movie?
I do, yeah.
And that was a disaster. But they had already committed to an animated series based on that. So this animated show aired the following fall that nobody cared about.
Right, but they just... Oh, man.
Because they just
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it was called Alienators.
So it didn't even have the same name? Did they change it?
It was called Alienators, The Next Evolution.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's sort of like Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Whatever they called it. Kill, Death, Murder or something.
Murder, Death, Kill. Kill, Marry, F. No, it's Live, Die... Die,
Repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then Ghostbusters got somewhat rebranded on Blu-ray, right? As Answer the Call.
Yeah, which, if I was wary about the theater, Answer the Call, those 3 words are what are going to make me check it out now.
I would really love to know, because obviously that was a decision that was made by several people, and they had to decide the font that was going to go with Answer the Call.
Right.
They were going to figure out where it goes on the Blu-ray. I would just, and I'm not even pro it or against it, just what, I just want to hear someone explain that to me.
I think it's pure flailing. It's just trying to whack away at something and anything and hope to hit something,
I guess I just want someone to justify, like pretend like I'm like the guy, the prison guys in Shawshank Redemption, and Morgan Freeman's on the other side explaining why they actually spent time and money thinking and printing out the words "Answer the Call." I want to know, and then I'll open up a manila folder and I'll stamp rejected.
I mean, and again, $144 million. Did this movie need to cost that much?
No, I can see why maybe they would think that they should, because they're like, we're going all the way, You know, I can kind of, but no, it did not need to cost that much money.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you know, make it. I don't know. I mean, it's like we're like screaming into the wind here. You know?
Yeah, yeah, right. And we're doing exactly what we said we wouldn't do.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, anyway, so Ghostbusters, probably not going to be a sequel. The following week, speaking of, again, the sequel, they didn't do that well. Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah, which to our bafflement.
to the bafflement of many, because this is one of the best reviewed movies of the year.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's certified fresh at Rotten Tomatoes. It's sitting at 85% positive reviews. And, you know, pretty much the majority of people who see it are quite effusive about it. Now, this is another one. It cost about $180 million.
It's a lot.
A lot of money. It did not make that money back domestically, so about $155 million. So, I mean, it's...
Well, it wouldn't be 2016 if it was a movie that didn't spend more than it made.
Yeah, this is the... Oh, and by the way... The one, this is ironic because audiences forgot about it, and so did we. Independence Day Resurgence.
Oh, man.
The month prior. Yeah, that was pretty much the universal reaction by critics, was what you just said.
Yeah.
This thing, honestly, I would have pegged this as one of the biggest hits of the summer.
I saw the potential for it to be that, sure.
Like, I was like, critical reaction be damned, this is going to be a massive hit.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's going to be like Jurassic World all over again. It didn't even occur to me that A, they wouldn't show it to critics, and B, it would be a catastrophe. Didn't even cross my mind.
I didn't see it being a catastrophe at all, but I didn't think it was going to be one of the biggest movies this summer either. I thought it was going to be one of those sort of like Midland movies.
Sure.
You know, that like, oh yeah, that earned its budget back, and people seem pretty happy. That's kind of what I expected from that one.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this was another one where as I was watching it, maybe 20 minutes in, I was like, this is not a good movie.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, you can sense it early on.
Yeah, I mean, quickly.
Yeah. I've actually heard that every time you speak its name, a cold breeze blows through the fox lot.
That explains well, I just felt a cold breeze right now. So, yeah, I mean, they have to be wondering what went wrong.
I mean, you could speak to the movie not being very good because it isn't, but at the same time, people didn't turn up to begin with.
Right.
So maybe that first movie only holds resonance to people who were there.
Okay.
Right? I don't know.
But the people who were there didn't show up for this one.
Touché, because I work with people who love the first one and can quote the first one, but they didn't go to this one. I don't know. Maybe it just felt hollow.
It was, because like, you know, I rewatched the original one with my kids, and they were like, oh, when are you taking us to the new one? And I was like, never. I'm never. You're not going. I was like, I won't allow it, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, the new one will ruin your memories of the first one.
Yeah.
Which, the first one is not a good movie, necessarily.
Are your kids at a point where we're like, we trust you and we love you, Dad. Thank you.
Well, they're kind of, I mean, I think it's more like, what are they going to do? You're going to go by themselves, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they go to see the movies I take them to.
That's funny.
So they're exposed to things through my prism, for good or for ill, you know?
Right.
But regardless, Star Trek Beyond didn't do that well. I'm still, you know, this is one of those situations where I'm like, is it the end of the franchise? I don't know, you know?
Yeah, and it's funny, too, because before it came out, they were sort of eager to talk about the next one already.
Yeah. And I hope that's still going to happen.
Yeah, me too. I like these guys. I like the new cast. I understand the people who are slightly critical of it, where it's become just sort of an action franchise. I get it.
This is the solution to this problem, Brian, because even people who are critical of the action aspect of it don't really have criticisms about the cast.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I'm kind of like, all right, you've got the cast under contract, bring them back, do a smaller story, do a Wrath of Khan type story.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. And by that, I don't mean do Wrath of Khan again, because you friggin' did that and you ruined
Well,
it.
they already did that. Yeah.
Do something. But I mean, Wrath of Khan cost about, it had a TV movie budget.
Right.
And that's what you need. Bring it down. Don't expect this to be a blockbuster because it's Star Trek. It's not going to be. It's not going to be Star Wars, especially because now we have Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's pie in the sky. Don't do it. But this franchise was a dependable performer through the 80s and the 90s. So spend accordingly because there's clearly an audience for it because $155 million ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, again, Paramount, put us in charge, will you? End of July was Jason Bourne, which I talked about. I fell asleep during that movie. You did not see it, as far as I know.
No, I feel like I've seen it 3 times already.
Which this really is. Although this was a success story, $120 million budget, and it's made $380 worldwide.
Yeah.
So this is one of the few times that actually, even though the reaction was pretty muted, I don't think a lot of people loved it, but ended up doing okay. So I guess we can expect another one of these things in a couple of years, I'm assuming Matt Damon wants to come back.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, why the hell wouldn't he? It's not like people want to see him buy a zoo. Come on. Did you see the trailer for The Great Wall? He's going to do another Jason Bourne movie.
Right.
Who thought that was a good idea? Suicide Squad, we talked about that in our last episode. This is now outgrossed Man of Steel.
That's something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
so a movie about, like, second-tier bad guys. I mean, Joker notwithstanding. Right in the DC universe, outgrossed Superman. Wow.
Now, $175 million, it did cost too much. But it's going to end up with almost $700 million worldwide. I mean, can we agree that this is a hit?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's so funny. I see it like on websites still being referenced as, failure, Suicide Squad, blah blah blah. It's like, no, I don't think it is.
Yeah, I think this is a hit. I think whether you like the movie or dislike it, it's done very well.
Yeah, it was a movie that I didn't mind watching, but I definitely wished it had reached for greater heights.
Yeah.
And maybe it did. Maybe it was reaching for them, but I don't know that it achieved them. But I wanted it to be something that I wanted to rewatch. And I don't know that it was that.
This is a perfect example of this budgetary nonsense that we're talking about. There's no reason on earth for this movie to have cost $175 million.
Yeah.
You have Will Smith and all these guys work for scale. You spend $75 million on a gritty, grounded movie that's funny. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't rely on a lot of these effects. And, that's what you want to do. I mean, it's baffling to me that you have these superhero universes where these, I don't even want to say these studios, but certainly Warner Brothers, it feels like they want to make everything play at sort of a Batman and Superman level. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the whole point is you've got these characters that you don't need to play at that level. So take advantage of that. Spend less and create these sort of mini franchises, and then you've got your Justice League and your Wonder Woman and whatever that will be expected to do better,
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely a hit, and one of the few sort of unquestionable success stories this summer. And and then 2 weeks. Oh, and by the way, Pete's Dragon came out the following week, which nobody watched.
Man, yeah, which I heard was not that bad.
I've heard it's very good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now the original, I've actually never seen it.
Oh, interesting. That was like a Fox 32 Saturday afternoon special.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I remember that being the first time I saw a commercial for it, and it was the first time I saw animation and live action sort of interacting together. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But this is directed by David Lowery, who I actually interviewed a couple of years ago. He did a movie called Ain't Them Bodies Saints, which is actually really good. It stars Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara, and he's an interesting dude. So I actually didn't realize that he directed Pete's Dragon until I read about it, and I kind of regretted not seeing it because from what I hear, he brought kind of a very unique look and feel to this film, and I do hear it's worth watching.
Yeah, I will definitely see it eventually.
But here's a perfect example. $65 million budget, which is what this movie should cost. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Right? That's exactly what you want to spend on a movie like that.
Which, I mean, I agree with that in theory, but at the same time, for having a main character that's all CGI, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little higher. Like, I wouldn't sort of like scoff at like an 80 million budget on that.
Sure. But I mean, it's like, you know, because it's not a mammoth hit, but the write-down isn't going to be disastrous.
Right.
And I will say, I mean, I appreciate the fact that Disney does take so many swings on movies like this. Because it's like, well, they can afford to, you know?
Right.
But the following week, one of the biggest flops of the year, if not the biggest flop, Ben-Hur.
Yeah, which I guess is, right? I thought I just saw before we got on some article that said that is going to be the biggest flop of the summer in terms of loss.
And is that even remotely surprising?
No. I mean, it's surprising how much they spent on it.
So it cost $100 million.
Yeah.
It's made $54 million worldwide.
Wow.
Worldwide.
Yeah.
So basically, MGM and Paramount, so both studios, which cannot afford this, by the way, are going to end up losing about $120 million.
Oh, man.
Now this is at HitFix. The original, not the original, because that's actually a remake. The Charlton Heston, William Wyler version is itself a remake. But that made $850 million in today's dollars. So that made basically about $820 million more than this remake.
Yeah. And it's funny because I don't think it needs to exist.
Yes.
But I feel like I've read a couple of reviews that are like, it's fine. Right? And like, everyone's going in thinking this, why does this exist? But I've seen a few people come out, like reviewers that I like, say, it's all right.
Sure.
So, I mean, it feels like there was a different way to do this. Like, to expect this to be some sort of huge blockbuster is crazy. But if you feel like this is a story you want to tell and you have some sort of fresh take or angle you want to do on it, then okay, like, that's with you. But like, to expect this to have been a thing.
But they don't, I mean, they don't have a fresh angle.
Well, I don't know. From what I understand, I didn't realize it was sort of done from like a faith-based, trying to tap into that audience. That's not something that would have even occurred to me, but I guess that's what it is.
Sure.
Because it's a Mark Burnett production.
Yes.
Right? So I get it. But like, I don't feel like they did that correctly or conveyed that correctly, or I don't know what that movie was supposed to be other than why did they remake Ben-Hur?
Well, I mean, that's essentially the problem, right? Is that it's just, I mean, fundamentally they didn't cross the hump of justifying the movie's existence. To me, it's like remaking Wizard of Oz.
Right.
It's just, what's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, you can say, oh, well, we want to make a version of Wizard of Oz that's truer to the book or whatever, which I suppose that's valid because the film is very far afield from that. But there's no audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Wizard of Oz that people know is the MGM Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's no point, you know what I mean? That's the reason that people didn't watch Return to Oz.
Mm-hmm.
Because which I think is a good movie, by the way. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Are you talking about the one from a couple of years ago?
No.
Or is that the one from the 80s?
From the 80s, Gary Kurtz produced it.
The one that everyone says is like nightmare fuel?
It absolutely is nightmare fuel, yeah.
Yeah. I have never seen it.
It's totally worth watching.
Okay.
Because I think it's very interesting.
Uh-huh.
But that's sort of meant to exist within the world as it's imagined in the books.
And not replace.
Yeah, it's a sequel to the original film, but it's not in the sense that tonally it's so different, right?
Sure.
But so imagine now that we make a version of the original Wizard of Oz that's more in line with the sort of the way the Return to Oz is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no audience for that.
Right.
And that's the point. I mean, Ben-Hur is Ben-Hur is Ben-Hur. What audience there is for it that's aware of it is a fan of the original film.
Mm-hmm.
And beyond that,
Yeah.
There's no audience for it.
Right.
This is the problem.
Yeah, come on, people.
I mean, honestly, the minute this movie was announced back in, like, I don't even remember when, 2013, I think,
Mm-hmm.
we were like, this is a terrible idea.
Right. Yeah.
You know, we called it.
Yeah.
We called it a while ago, Brian.
Yeah. No one listens.
It's disappointing nobody listens to us, but one day.
Someday they'll see.
So I think that wraps up our summer wrap-up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just throw in there that I saw Hell or High Water.
Oh,
which is
really, really need to see that.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess that's a post-summer film. Like now we're stepping into the smaller movies and soon the award movies. And well, maybe I'll talk about it a little bit more later if you end up seeing it. But I will say that it did feel like a nice anecdote to summer blockbuster season. I mean, that's why I was so excited to see it. Like I went out of my way, to try to see this in a movie theater because I just wanted to see. I saw that it had like a great critical reception, but I was just really eager to see a movie that was about people on Earth, that didn't cost a lot of money. Like they just showed up with cameras and pointed them and captured a story.
Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges acting.
Yeah, and
no blue beam.
No blue beam, but like hopefully in what is like a relatable, realistic story, and nothing bonkers going on, and that's what it turned out to be. And I gotta say, I mean, if I remember correctly, I feel like Rotten Tomatoes is at 98%.
Wow,
which is insane. And then the viewer percentage is at like 90%.
Goodness.
Which I will tell you, if you haven't seen it, and to people who haven't seen it, I do feel like that sets up something that it just can't deliver on. I mean, because you're like almost 100%, like this thing's gonna blow me away.
Yeah.
And I didn't think it did, but I really enjoyed it. I don't think this is like some sort of new modern classic or anything, which unfortunately I think I felt like I was walking into.
Okay.
But it's just really refreshing to go in and see a story where I truly have no idea what's going to happen next.
What would you compare it to?
It felt like a modern Western.
Okay.
I would compare it, even though it is a little different, I would compare it to maybe No Country for Old Men.
Sure.
That movie has a lot more sort of menace to it. But at the same time, it's about, an aging sheriff. And I'm talking about Hell or High Water now. Like it's about an aging sheriff trying to pursue something that's maybe a little beyond him now. And, these people have new motivations that he doesn't quite understand. But whereas in No Country for Old Men, it's basically pure evil.
Gotcha.
That he's trying to pursue. It's like in this one, it's more about people who've been wronged by the way that the world works now. It's almost about cowboys and the West, and like the Old West meets the New West. And like the ways of the Old West are being gobbled up by the way things are now. And so people try to take things into their own hands, and you've got this aging sheriff who's just trying to keep up. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it for people who are looking for something that feels a little, fresher and a little more grounded, and something you can kind of sink your teeth into.
Sure.
In terms of, acting, story, scenery, even. I would definitely recommend it.
Wow. Okay. So
yeah,
kind of the first of the big fall offerings.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, obviously, as the next couple months unfold, we'll have a lot more of these fall offerings to be talking about. I think the older we get, the more excited we get for the Oscar bait type stuff.
Yeah.
So what we're finding.
Yeah.
But that's a good place to wrap up this conversation. Brian, any new projects or anything you want to hype up?
Well, I'm still working at the Bob's Burgers comic book, and I have a full issue. Typically, there's 3 stories per issue, but I have one that's just one story that I wrote that's coming out. I want to say the 14th, September 14th. So I'm really happy with it. It's like a riff on the Connecticut Yankee and King Arthur's Court. It's a lot of fun. The illustrations are great. So yeah.
Very cool. And where can people find you online if they want to seek you out?
I always never know quite how to answer this. I'm on Instagram. I don't know why anyone would want to see pictures of clouds that I take, but if you want to, I'm at bhall789, and I'd be happy to have you follow me.
There you go. All right. Well, yeah. I'm on Instagram as well, and my handle is @Zaki's Corner. That's also my Twitter handle. And that's also my website. Just add a .com to it. You can also find me at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up regularly, as does this show, as does Nostalgia Theater. So please do check that out. And if you have any comments or concerns or questions or anything that you'd like to have us answer, go to moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com, email us, or else go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. I'm trying to think what else.
Yeah, and I gotta say, for anyone who's thinking like, oh, I get this question, whatever. But like, honestly, getting all these emails and reading these questions and whatnot are some of my favorite things with doing the show. It's really cool to just hear what people have on their minds and want to ask and are thinking about themselves. So, I mean, yeah, please, if you guys got questions, I love hearing them personally.
Come on, folks. Brian leads a very sheltered, sad, and lonely life.
Yeah.
This is one of the few... He's a good boy, people. Give him some attention.
Yeah.
But also hit up iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, and subscribe to us. More importantly, though, go to iTunes and write a review. Let people know what you think. Leave a star rating. Leave a review, even if it's just one word. Every little bit helps, so please do that. And we'll be back in just a couple weeks. Now that summer hiatus is over, we've got lots to talk about through the fall into the end of the year. So keep it tuned here at the Movie Film Podcast. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Welcome, friends. It's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast. Enjoy the show. Zaki and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.